Cynthia Stott, Master Park, Cynthia Stott.
Thank you. When I was preparing for this speech, I realized that I have never had a Toastmasters mentor. Never. In all my 15 years of being a Toastmaster, I've never had an official Toastmasters mentor, although I have probably mentored over 20 people in Toastmasters, including 3 area directors. So I have a lot of experience with it. But when I was reaching back to talk about my experience, I realized that my best mentor was Master Park. He was my yoga instructor. He was Korean, and he was definitely an English language learner. He didn't have a lot of English. And one time I was sitting around a table with the masters from the area, yoga masters from the area, and some healers. I was the healer captain. And they were speaking in Korean, and I responded. And they said, "When did you learn Korean?" I said, "I don't speak Korean, but I do speak Master Park." I could totally understand what he was saying. The things that he gave me that were the most beneficial to me were his, what I call Master Parkism. The first one was checking one more time. And this was what he taught me to do whenever we had an event. We would call people up and make sure they were coming, and then make sure they were coming again, checking one more time. And especially because the events that we had were on personal development and growth, and there was a lot of energy around it, sometimes the members had a hard time getting themselves there. And if I would give them a call, it would give them the support that they needed to get there. And sometimes that has happened for speakers that I'm mentoring, that I'll call them or check in with them to make sure they're coming and going to give their speech. So checking one more time. The second one was say yes first, find out how to do it later. And that has really grown me. One time that I did that, I was at a Toastmasters event. It was I think it was a Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and we're having this big humorist come and speak. And it was Darren LaCroix, who won the World Champion of Public Speaking. I think I've talked about him before. And he asked us to volunteer. And I said, yes, right away, because I had learned that that's most important. I didn't even know what I was saying yes to. When I got up on stage, there were about 7 of us, and I found out, this is when I was terrified of public speaking. And when I was a little bit in my Miss Wiggles mode, where my whole body shook and my lips quivered and I couldn't get my words out of my mouth. And on this stage, I was supposed to give, I think it was only a few lines that we're supposed to give, and then he was going to give us feedback. Well, I inched my way back to the end of the 7 people because I wanted to be last. And by the time it got to me, I was so terrified. My knees almost buckled, and I could see that black curtain coming in like a fade to black in an old TV. And I almost passed out, and I had to say, "Cynthia, breathe." And I breathed, and I got through it. I gave my couple of sentences. He gave me some feedback, and I realized I didn't die. I didn't die. And I was so impressed with him that I purchased $1,000 worth of his programs. On the way home, I had to pick up a flat screen TV and a Blu-ray player because my DVD player and my television were broken. But I was committed because I had said yes. So I am eternally grateful to Master Park for those Master Parkisms that he gave us. And the other thing that he taught me was that the body tells all. We were doing some coaching, actually one-on-one coaching, personal training. And he usually gave me 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups and all sorts of things that I needed to do. And this particular night, he didn't give me any sit-ups. And I asked him, why no sit-ups? And he said, your body can't handle sit-ups tonight. What did you do? What did you do? And my liver had told him that I had 2 glasses of wine 48 hours before. It was still in my system. So he taught me that the body doesn't lie. And he also taught me that my body doesn't like alcohol anymore. So I'm primarily a teetotaler. So Master Park, I appreciated him when I had him, but I appreciate him even more now that I've learned all the things that he shared with me. And what he shared with me, especially because he didn't have a lot of English, was directly from his heart. And he cared about me, truly cared about me. And he was willing to tell me what I needed to hear, even if I didn't want to hear it. And I think that's important for a mentor, to give you the information that you'll need and can glean from and learn from and use for the next 10, 20 years. That's, for me, that's a true mentor. So Master Parkism was say yes and find out what to do later and checking one more time. I hope that you have a wonderful experience as a mentee, and I'm going to have an experience as a mentee. I am determined that I will get a mentor, Toastmasters mentor, in the next 6 months to help me to go to the next level for what I need to do in my leadership and my speaking. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.